Hey everybody! I thought it would be a good time to talk about how to use our calculators. Now your calculator probably looks a little bit different than this one, but for sure it has the sine, cosine, tangent, exponential functions, 10 to the x, e to the x, square roots, things like that on it. This is a scientific calculator and you have to have one of these if you are going to major in science or engineering. And so let's talk a little bit about how to use your calculator. And you might think that, yeah, whatever, I already know how to use my calculator. What I want you to do is let's just start with an easy exercise. We're going to take the sine of 12. So 12 and hit sine. What could be easier? And it gives me 0.2079. If you got negative 5 point something, that means that your calculator is currently set to radians. Let me show you how that works. If I put in 12 and then set my calculator with the second function to radians, and then I hit sine, now I get negative 0.5366. And this little thing right here says RAD, indicating that it interprets whatever I put here as being in radians. And you have to set that to degrees if you want this argument to be assumed to be in degrees. Most scientific calculators have that option. You should also be able to convert very readily between degrees and radians. The way I remember it is that the 360-degree circle is 2 pi radians. And so I just, even if it's not on my equation sheet that's the equality there, it's something that I just know and carry with me so I don't have to dig around for it. Okay, well let's do sine of 12 again, 12 degrees that is, and let's think about this number. Does that mean that the sine of 12 degrees is exactly 0.2079000000, or what? Well, I have this set to only give me 4 digits to the right of my decimal point, and your calculator might be set up in a similar way. It's something you can change. On mine, I use this function key to set how many. Here, let's try 8. Now we can see that if we take the sine of 12, it's actually 0.20791169. And if I wanted to put more numbers, what I would find is that it just kept going on and on and on and on and on here. I don't know how many I can set. Maybe I can set 9. There we go. I can even get one more digit out of it. But I don't like that. I don't need to have that many. So I will just leave it with 4 after the decimal point. You need to know how to make your calculator work for you. So when I put in that number, if I have to multiply the number 52 by the sine of 12, so here's the sine of 12, and multiply them together, it's going to give me a number that looks like it has 6 significant figures. I don't want to see all these on your exam. If the original number was 52, 2 significant digits, then you must round off this to 2 significant digits. And just be careful. When you round off, do so only in the very last step of the problem. Throughout the problem, it's always good practice to keep a couple of extra digits. If you're working with a problem that ultimately needs only 2, then keep 3 or 4 throughout the problem. You don't need 6. And I certainly don't want to see this as your final answer at the very end of the question.